Hey Capricorn, I'm Empress Rose and welcome to your reading. These are general readings, so take what works, leave what doesn't. Check your sun, moon, rising, and Venus signs for more information, especially if I don't catch your vibe, your energy wave on this reading. There's other options, and plus you can always contact me. My email's down below for a personal reading. I love to do those. So, all right, these are all pre-shuffled. At first I wasn't doing it because it was noisy and time-consuming. Now I realize that the real reason is I can't shuffle and talk at the same time. So, oh, I have this upside down. See? That's what I'm talking about. All right, Capricorn, let's get an intuitive vibe for where this reading's going. Looking for a clear, helpful message for Capricorn this week. Clear, helpful message for Capricorn this week. All right. Ooh, lots of this card this week. A lot of this card. Even in my own personal readings. Oh, and this one too. My goodness. So Libra just got that one. Okay, to the moon and back. So this is thinking about your future. Both of these actually are thinking about your future. I love how their hairdos are a little the same. So to the moon and back, she's definitely dreaming about something, thinking about something. I think she's actually a little worried about the future. She has a message, an idea here, and then one on the hand that she's contemplating bringing forward or allowing to let fly. So she's thinking about talking about something. There's no movement here. There's just sort of sitting in a little worrying vibe. You're a little bit worried about something. You're watching something and you're feeling some concern towards that thing. You're not taking action, you're not talking about it, but you're definitely contemplating, holding on, holding back for sure. Abracadabra. This is a beautiful card. The spiral on her head speaks to me of the cycles we go through. We all have our own because we all have our own individual vibration, we all have our own cycles that we go through and the things that we deal with on a regular basis. So the hope is that each time we come back to the same place in that cycle, that we've grown a little. And so this is what the spiral represents to me, is personal growth as you sort of go through the oh, we're back here again. Oh, this decision again. Oh, yes, this decision again. I thought I put this to rest 5 years ago, but you've grown. So you're gonna hit something that's part of your cycle, that you've been here before. You've had a huge commitment. You've had an increasing commitment to some sort of project or idea or something like that, and you've really grown. So obviously she's really grown. She's grown. Look at this. This whole thing is about growth. She's grown. She was committed to something and really grew in that thing. And now we're coming to the point where our words, which we're holding back here, possibly because we know that abracadabra, those are the magic words that help us manifest. I mean, it's this commitment, it's growth, all of that. But she's, touching a star. This has a little bit to do with astrology too. I'm seeing this. We have all the constellations, all the astrological constellations represented here, and she's touching them. She's touching the stars, and it has to do with words and with something she said. And there's some sort of magical manifestation. It seems magical, but you've worked very hard for this manifestation of something coming towards you. But there are words here that you can say, and you can only say them now that you've grown this much, and now that you're back at this part of the themes of your life. You're dealing with one of those themes right now. You've grown a lot though, and this time you're gonna know what to say, and you're gonna know what to do, and it's gonna create the world. This vision that you've been having, this bird that you've been holding back on, I think it's time to let that bird fly and to communicate. But you've been holding back and you've just been dreaming. And this is a little bit of like, okay, now's the time to say what you want. Now's the time to speak the words. All right, we're going to move to the Moonology deck here. Still getting used to this deck and what it likes to do and how it likes to talk to me. So we'll see. What do we got for Capricorn this week? sometimes it's really forthcoming, and sometimes I have to pick something up. All right. That's pretty easy right there. Nothing is yet set in stone, mutable moon. So see how that ocean is just, it's very emotional. So, So this nothing is yet set in stone is about that liminal phase where we don't yet know which direction something's going to go. And it could go in any direction. Within that phase is so much opportunity. It's incredibly stressful. It can be very stressful to be in a space where nothing's set in stone, but you have to understand that that's where a huge number of opportunities lie, in that shifting. So this is one reason why lawmakers often don't want to like revisit a topic, because once they open that topic up, the other side can start to pour shit into it and mess with it too. So once you like start messing with, you know, how we do things, then everybody recognizes that that's the opportunity to make the changes go your direction. So even if you open up a conversation hoping it's going to go your direction, the other person can. So it's like that thing where when you punch, you give the opponent an opening. So you have to time that and think about that. It's not just punching, it's also creating an opening for yourself to get harmed. That was a really violent analogy that I didn't mean to go there. But nothing is yet set in stone, mutable moon. So when we take action, or when that opening happens, it's an opening for everybody. So even if it doesn't look necessarily like a good opening for you, that opening happened for you, or that you're in charge of the opening, you can still think like economic upheaval can create openings for people to move into new businesses. It's a great time to start a new business, even though it's not gonna go really well at first, but it's a great time to just get started with things if you're having like some economic upheaval. So there's opportunity here in this nothing is set in stone. Also, don't get locked into anything, but I think there's an opportunity here for you to manifest something, especially because nothing is set in stone. All right, we're going to move to the Santa Muerte deck. So on this one, I've already shuffled these, and I'm just doing a nervous shuffle. Okay, for Capricorn, this is your past, your present, your inner landscape, what's at issue, your environment, your to-do list, and your possible outcome. Okay, in your recent past, you've had a major transformation. Something big in your life ended, and this necessitates something new coming in. So oftentimes in these big transitions, we just see the new thing coming in, or we see the old thing ending, and we don't see that necessitates a new thing. When you cross a threshold, you can be like, I'm leaving that room, but you actually went into a different room. Or you can be like, I'm going into that room, and then not even like acknowledge that means you're leaving a room. So this is threshold energy. Excuse me. Okay. And that's my incense stick right here. It's going in my face. Okay, so there's this is threshold energy. This is a major ending, a major new beginning. We've had the cradle here. So it looks like you've probably already given birth to your new beginning, and it was divinely guided. The timing was perfect, divinely timed. You needed to harvest something. You've got your personal demon here taking a little back seat for a moment. And it looks like since this is in your recent past, this cradle's probably full with your new beginning, and you're no longer pregnant. The one have become two now. That's the kind of new beginning we've got here. Okay, in your present situation, you have a King of Swords. So this could be you, or this could be someone around you. This is someone who's very capable of handling the truth, speaking very clearly, very fairly. It's a very fair person. They are kind in their speaking of the truth. They are not cruel. They don't speak truth to hurt people. They're battle tested and worn, and they have a lot of truth, a lot of understanding, a lot of education. This could be someone who is very highly educated, and it doesn't matter about gender. It's just easier to use the male pronouns when it says king. So There were female kings, though, like in Egypt. So just so you know, I'm not the only one that doesn't think king refers specifically to a gender. So, so yeah, there's just a lot of clarity, a lot of intellect. There's somebody in your life right now, or it could be you, that just has a lot of information that maybe you want and need. Yeah, I'm feeling like it's just somebody in your environment that has a lot of information. But you know what? We have the King of Swords and we have the Queen of Pentacles. And although they're very different suits, they kind of match. There's a little matchiness here. So in your environment, there's also this Queen of Pentacles. So there's sort of this fascinating. Inside, though, your inner landscape, we've got a lot of this vibe going on here, this heavy heart, heavy, a lot on your mind. This ending is weighing pretty heavily on you, actually, and it's actually pretty depressing. You have your mind, your emotions are weighing very heavily on your mind. There's a little bit of depression here. Well, not a little bit, kind of a lot. You know, you're in darkness. Here's the ending that's crowning you, and it is weighing on you heavier than you're letting on, or heavier on internally. That ending is weighing pretty heavily on you. You don't like, maybe you don't like how it ended. Maybe you don't like, it's just such a deep feeling here of, there is a glimmer of hope inside of this situation, but mostly you're grieving, and that's fine. The grieving process is 100% normal and necessary for new cycles and new growth and new health. And for the new stuff to be healthy, you definitely have to let go. You know, after she gives birth, she's going to bleed for like 3 weeks. And that's sort of a little bit like the grieving process. Like, you know, yeah, it ended. And then here we have this like aftermath that we have to deal with in order to be healthy. And in order to, it's part of the healing process. So, and then I was going to say, sorry if that's too graphic, but if that's too graphic, just whatever. You were born once, so you should probably know about that shit. And then what's at issue is the Two of Swords. So the Two of Swords upright would be sort of a denial situation, feeling trapped, feeling stuck, not feeling like you have the tools to get unstuck. But possibly, so we take it in the reversal. In the reversal, we can reverse this in 2 ways. One is that you're not in denial, you're just refusing to put the scissors together properly, to cut out the things that you need to cut out, the things that aren't working for you, the things that aren't healthy for you. You're no longer in denial. You know exactly what you need to do, and you don't want to do it. Maybe you were in denial, maybe you didn't see that the scissors was put together wrong and wasn't going to be able to cut anything out, but now you're not, and you're still not cutting shit out, okay? Or the other thing is that you're starting to, that you did figure it out. You did figure out that you were your jailer here, that you're the one that put the scissors together wrong in your mind. Your mind kind of got some things twisted and put things together wrong. So this could be the process of unraveling that. And that's what's at issue. That's the issue that you're facing. But I wouldn't say it's something that's holding back the flow. I'd say it's something that is just an issue that you're facing that's difficult to cut yourself out of a situation that you boxed yourself into. So there's no shame in realizing that. I mean, I only think denial is a problem when we have shame attached to coming out of denial, attached to the idea of why didn't I see that? Why didn't I know? You know, oh my God, I made all these decisions and they've been shitty ones, and why didn't I see? You like, no shame, you grow, you know better, you do better kind of thing. So, so that could be, you know, what's at issue is the shame of realizing that you were the one that's been, you know, messing with your own head this whole time, not this whole time, but, you know, for a period of time. And it's either that or you're refusing to cut out the things that you know are causing you pain. You should have gone through this transition. You know the truth. You know the truth. It's been laid on you gently, kindly. And you may be, you know, just either refusing to acknowledge that truth boldly not just denial, or you are starting to acknowledge the truth and starting to realize that you do have the tools to free yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. And so that's a quote from Bob Marley. So in the environment, you have the Queen of Pentacles. So this is someone who's who in your environment, in your situation, there's a leveling up, there's a climbing a corporate ladder vibe, there's somebody's worked hard. So maybe your team's worked hard, or your family's worked hard, or just a person you know in your environment has really worked hard and is really starting to harvest the fruits of their labor. And so that's the vibe around you. That's your environment, is starting to harvest fruits, starting to climb higher, to gain more. It's Queen of Pentacles, so it usually has to do with work or money or something like that. Something very solid, climbing up to get what's yours, to get what's theirs. And this could be a person in your environment. It's most likely a person, because it is a queen who is acquiring what's theirs, and what, or that can also be like a vibe, harvesting vibe. It's time. It's just in your environment. It's time to bring something in and bring in what's been worked for and what's been earned. We have another person here. Your to-do list is to come into this energy. This is the Page of Cups energy. This is learning about feelings. You don't have to talk about it. Although where does this abracadabra shit come in here? I don't know. But we have this not talking about it energy here. This is getting curious, getting very curious about your feelings, about your intuitions, about your emotions, about love, about how you feel about something. She's not talking about it. She's got it locked down, but it's not time to write the peer-reviewed paper yet on your feelings. It's time to just explore them quietly to yourself. So this is sort of my cook, my baker. She's, has the roux thickened the soup enough? She's, seeing how that drip comes down there. And so that's what you're being called to do, is pay some really close attention to these feelings. You have some very deep grief and deep feelings. And I think this is calling you to go look at that, examine it, see what's there, see why this is painful, see why, see what's so painful. Ask with curiosity. A lot of times when our negative emotions come in, like anger, sadness, despair, depression, loneliness, these things come in and we want to push them off to the side. But one of the cooler ways is to imagine them sort of embodied, and instead of just leaving them outside, invite them inside, invite them to sit, on your couch, and ask them, as if you're their therapist, ask them what's bothering them. Why did they come? Why did they show up? And it can be like a weird but really cool conversation with your emotions, where you're asking them, hey, sadness, why are you here? What do you need me to know? What do you want to tell me today? What are you here to do? And it can be a really healing, imaginary conversation. So if you're up for imaginary conversations, I recommend that one. And that's really part of this energy here, your to-do list. So a possible outcome is a brand new emotional beginning. And you can only get there if you're dealing with this grief from this emotional ending. So you're not allowed to just ignore this and pretend everything's fine and just work on your pentacles and do all the, just pour everything into your work and your labor and bringing in harvests and all that stuff. It's really workaholism, that kind of thing, can be very, we can appear very productive on the outside and very together when we're doing our work and when we're productive on the outside here. But I'm seeing that inside you're kind of really deeply depressed. If you want a new emotional beginning, you're going to have to do this curiosity work. So you do that, you come into that energy, this emotionally unsettled energy, nothing set in stone, very emotionally unsettled ocean here. But see, we got two bodies of water here. You can have a new emotional beginning. So this is a deluge coming to transform the desert, the barren desert. It was a high plateau, dry lake, and then here came this absolute emotional deluge, and it's turning it into a wetlands. We have a frog here representing giant leaps forward. We have a dragonfly here representing self-reflection and otherworldly communication. We have a praying mantis here representing meditation and self-control. We have lotuses here representing growth from muddy muck, from the gross stuff life gives us. We grow these gorgeous lotus flowers. So this is a new beginning. So this is one of the possible outcomes that we're looking at for you, but I think you have to do this work. You have to deal with this. You can't just be focusing on your pentacles and your work. You have to get into your feels and really process this major transformation that you went through. You've got to deal with that afterbirth, honestly, okay? So nothing is yet set in stone. So if you're looking for a clear answer, the clear answers, I think, comes when you do all this emotional work. But right now it's just this emotional wash is underlying everything, creating instability. Like, it's like a house. I love houseboats so much. It's my dream to live in one someday. I think, yeah. It's my dream to live in one someday. But the foundation of a houseboat's real different than a foundation of a house, right? So this is, I think, saying, you know, your house is built on this roiling ocean right now. And yeah, it may look stable. You've got this pentacles situation looking good in your environment. Everything looks good. But you've got this, your foundation's actually like a raging sea right now. So you got to take care of your emotional foundation right here. And there's something having to do with words. You got some magic words here. You're going to have a new emotional beginning. But I think you've got some growth to do, and you really need to commit to that growth. And it's okay if you don't talk about it. I mean, it's easier to talk about it. Like, I always recommend a therapist, but this is not necessarily bringing one into the picture here. Maybe. This could be a therapist that's going to help you level up. But I'm not seeing a necessity in you necessarily having to talk it out with anybody. I think this is like some internal work you need to do. But as always, a therapist can help you do that internal work. All right, Capricorn, I hope that reading was helpful for you. Oh, it wasn't that long. Okay. And I hope you have a really wonderful week. And I really appreciate your likes, subscribes, and comments, because not only do they encourage me in my work, but they also help other people find this channel and hear these messages too. So thank you. Have a wonderful week.